Maybe we should cut the blue wire.
Hey, wait!
What?
That's not what I'm thinking.
What, do you think maybe the red?
No.
We gotta talk, babe, okay? You're in trouble. You got termites.
You have the right to remain unconscious. Anything you say ain't gonna be much. Back to bed. Back to bed.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with big-time TV director, producer, and former editor Norman Buckley. It was fun hearing about his rise to fame from starting on little films in Texas like Tender Mercies, which the late, great Lenny Von Dolen was on, and then going from like Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, Lethal Weapon 3, which is a sequel we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. But then boom, The OC, Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl. Credits are so great. What a great guy to talk to. Just hear about the ins and outs of the business and how he uses his editing into his filmmaking. Real cool. Great guy. Love talking to him. And I'm so excited to kick off 2023 with Lethal Weapon 3. And before I talk about that, I would say on the Mount Rushmore of duos, Riggs and Murtaugh are on there. Easy, I would say. And so I have to introduce my Rig. I would say you're more Murtaugh than Riggs. My partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
Okay. First of all, okay.
Okay,
First of all,
are you Riggs or Murtaugh or Leo Getz? Because you just said okay.
Okay. First of all, I'm not. I would think I would be more Riggs. You'd be more Murtaugh.
Yeah.
Maybe age wise, I'm trying to retire, but outside of that, I think I'm more Riggs. But we can maybe.
I would say I'm a little more crazy. I can see you getting a cake in a bath. Maybe.
Okay. We're definitely going to discuss that scene. And maybe we ask the audience. I think the audience might think I could be more Riggs than you, but we'll see.
Okay, so we'll pose it to you guys. Maybe I'll put it into people that listen on Spotify. I'll put a poll, or you can go on Twitter. I'll put a poll on there.
But
I guess it
something
has to be.
Oh, go ahead.
No, as I said, we'll have to just put like who's, because you can only put like. Oh no, I can do it. I know how to do it. Okay, go.
I have faith in you. So I agree with you. I don't think you're going to find, like, I would say Mount Rushmore, I would say easily a top 3 duo.
Okay.
Maybe Tango and Cash is right there. They're definitely,
If they made more than one, then I would put them on
of
there.
course. I'm just saying as a duo, that's pretty good. But their chemistry is awesome. And I'm so happy we're kicking off a new year. We did the same thing last year and then it went downhill. So I'm hoping we go uphill this time. Lethal Weapon is one of the best franchises, like action comedy franchises. However, and I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. I don't remember 4 as much. I just remember Jet Li kicking ass. But based on the first 2, I would say this is my least favorite Lethal Weapon. Now,
yeah, no, it definitely is. But having said that, it's still a great movie.
Oh, 100%. And I'll tell you why. And one of the biggest things, so Lethal Weapon to me is one of the best, just original movies. I put that up with Die Hard and everything else. The first 2 movies of Lethal Weapon were more action first than comedy, right? There's like some lines here and there, but it was really like an action buddy cop movie, you see. And I feel like from this one and the fourth one, it became more comedy and then action. So I think they flipped it a little bit, and I think that's a difference. Doesn't make it a bad movie, but I just feel like it changes what it started off with, and I like the action first with the comedy sprinkled in. Like, to me, the female truck driver, the armored car was not necessary. They gave her too much, And honestly, and this might rub people the wrong way, I'm not a fan of Leo. Like, I find it's way too... It was funny the first time in the second movie, but to have this character keep getting worse and worse more time just makes it just too annoying. It
is too annoying, but what they do to him, why would he ever come back?
Because he feels important with them. He feels like he's one of their partners. Because I think he said that. He goes, "Those are my partners." Like he says it to somebody. No. So yes, it is funny like how they basically bully him around. But it's just too much of the Leo. I don't know. And then I know he's in the fourth one, which again, the fact that they keep bringing him along, and which amazes me is this is like one of the best gangsters in movies, right? I mean, look, like Joe Pesci is one of the best, like, in Goodfellas and Casino, like all these movies, and he's playing this ridiculous role. Like, how did he go from here to that? Is like amazing.
Yeah, I think because it just maybe he wanted to like his acting chops. Because even doing like a movie like Home Alone, like Tim to do these things that are outside of his comfort zone, like really showed like his range. So obviously, like if you listen to our like 250 episode, I'm like a huge fan of audio now. Putting the audio like randomly throughout, not like I'm not gonna do the clapping, drum rolls throughout anything like this, but you might hear Leo gets, because one of the ones that I have to play it now, just so maybe somebody that's listening's never seen Lethal Weapon or only saw the first one and doesn't remember Joe Pesci's like memorable role. That's fine. We still love you, but listen to this one and his response, like talking about a joke that's so dated, even though I know they made the movie around this time, but here it is.
What are you doing with a police scanner?
What am I? Hello, car 54, where are you?
Okay.
Like,
even then it was dated. I mean, Car 54 is what, the 60s?
no, it
Like,
definitely was dated, but the movie came out then with what's his name? Hot was in it. The guy who sings
Yeah, I know. No, I know. But you see,
Yeah.
so again, I feel like, I don't know, like the character was just too much. Like to me, he's like the Jar Jar Binks of the movie.
Whoa.
And
Foreshadowing? Foreshadowing? Okay.
Well, I just think that if someone's never seen the series before and they started with this one, they're not going to want to watch another one. They're going to be like, all right, it's pretty funny. Okay. Like big, like, I think like this, you really have to watch it in order to really understand, and the chemistry. However, with that being said, and you've seen Riggs do this a lot in all those movies, and we're going to get to this. I'm starting to think that he's like a Jekyll and Hyde. He's Jekyll and Hyde. And because his tone, his voice always changes when he's like super angry. And he talks to himself. He's like a monster. He becomes like a monster. And he does it in the first movie when his face is in the mud with what's his face? And like he becomes Jekyll and Hyde. I never really thought about it, and now I can see that.
Well, he's crazy.
Absolutely. And I think his crazy is turned up a lot in this movie. Like each movie is crazy, but this movie, he's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and I think when I was getting ready to watch this and you told me I'm older than they are in this movie, which is insanity.
Okay, so I looked it up, and I believe that in this movie, Mel Gibson's only 36. And 36 or 38, and Danny Glover's like 44 or 45. Danny Glover looks like he's in his 50s. I mean, at least.
Well, he looks like he's in his 50s. Even Gibson at this point.
Okay, right. But the fact that he's been looking to retire in 3 movies, and he's only 44. So we're going to
talk about that a lot. The fact that he has 8 days to retire, he's got his vacation days, right? He just doesn't go to work for 8 days, and it's over. He doesn't have to worry about bombs going off, getting shot at, doing like foot patrol. Like, he doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff.
When you're partners with Riggs, it's amazing how many, I don't even want to say crimes, because I mean, you can see a guy stealing an orange from a stand, right? If you're a cop on the street. Riggs somehow sees every crazy crime that's about to be committed with machine guns and everything else that are just happening in the middle of, the streets. And he catches it every time.
One is hilarious. And we'll talk about that scene because I thought something else was going to come from it. But so let's get into it. So this movie had, like, again, one of those intros. It was like, you see all the actors in it, kind of like slow playing music, and then you get the flames to make the 3. One thing that's really cool, you look at this movie, how really great it is, shot, action-wise, and then you look at who the director of photography was. It was Jean Debont, who did like Speed 2, like a ton of other movies. But God, man, the beginning of this movie, yes.
Well, the music in the beginning of the movie was Sting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So So I mean, like, I'm not a fan of these, long introductions. I mean, this had it was a flame the entire time. The end of it was cool when you see like the three, out there, but it was a long, just to sit there, listen to the credits, but it's a good song. I mean, it's Sting. So like, I think that makes up for it. And again, if Sting's going to put his name to a soundtrack, the movie's gonna be good.
Yeah. And two things, obviously back then people had attention spans so they could like deal with a long intro. And then also I bet they went into this one saying this is the last one. I bet just a lot of the things they mentioned in the movie and they talked about, it just seemed like it would be the last one. Like
agreed.
So
but
I think that's what
meanwhile they're making one right now. That's what. So I know. So 2 movies later, they're making another one. So
I'm cool with it. Even if they're
absolutely.
just sort of in it, and then you have other 2 people in it. Because I enjoyed the TV show. It was like pretty good. I liked it.
I agree. I liked it too. And you know what? I mean, obviously they're still going to be doing what they're doing because I think Mel Gibson's still in pretty good shape. So it's still going to be good, regardless. It's like if we saw Kurt Russell and I'm going to go back to Tango and Cash. If we saw them in a movie again, doesn't matter how old they are. It's just them interacting together. And to me, this movie has the most tender scene when they're on that boat. We'll get there, but like just you see like. Real acting and like again, see how close they are as from the first movie where Glover hated him to now they're really like brothers. So
they definitely are brothers because it seems like Riggs's trailer on the beach is just for getting nookie because he's in their house every day. He's in their house, smoking in the house. What a dick!
Not only that, I mean. He could say it's all playing around, but his daughter has been flirting with him since the first movie.
Oh,
so I mean something, and I mean at the end of this movie, with his little
we'll get to that.
Okay,
dude.
So
yes,
so yeah, okay, all right.
Which I remember watching these movies as a kid. Such a crush on her.
Oh of course. So okay.
So yeah, right. so we get right into the movie, and we get which is pretty cool. After a slow intro, I love that we get right into it. That's what I love about these movies. I don't remember the first one because they weren't partners yet. If that was like that, but in the second one, it was right into it.
No, I think the first one is because the first one I think it starts
is the
off
jumper.
With the girl. I think so. I think that's the first scene. So she's you see her. Okay. So I mean that is pretty intense for the first scene.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and then the second one's a toilet bowl, right? Second one's a toilet bowl.
No. The second one opens right in a car. It opens in a car chase.
That wasn't a toilet bowl scene when did the bomb?
No, toilet bowl scene is at the end of the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, and the fourth one has the flamethrower guy, right? I think
so. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
See, you do it. Okay. You don't like him, but
I have to for this movie. I'm going to say okay a lot. So
yeah. So then there's like a bomb. Okay, these are 2 guys that they're just straight up badasses. They don't follow the rules. They cause a lot of damage, like the taxpayer dollars that go to their mistakes. A lot
of damage. And, I wouldn't say they don't follow the rules. I would say Riggs does not follow the rules and Murtaugh is always just following along.
But why does he follow him?
It's his partner. You live and die by your partner. You don't have a choice. You have to. That's it. Otherwise, why be partners if you're not going to follow partners? So, but I mean, yes. So I like the fact that they have a bomb in this building. And first of all, the fact that Riggs flies through the street and they walk right up. They're not part of the bomb team. Why are they just going right in? First of all, why are they allowed to go right in there? And
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Nobody was there like blocking it off. There was no like police tape. There was no like barriers. Like, like Joe Schmo could have walked in there and be like, oh, I have to get my car. Nobody would be like, oh, dude, there's a bomb in there. You can't go in there.
And are they sure everybody evacuated the building?
Oh,
it's a pretty big building.
People died.
I mean, easily. It's a big building. So, I mean, and, and again, he's retiring in 8 days and he's going to go in there and with a bomb. Like, so how selfish is Riggs?
Oh, insanely. I would love his reasoning. He goes, I don't know. There's a bomb in there because, I don't know. There's a full moon. There's not going to be a bomb in there. And then when he starts walking and he says, I don't really think there's a bomb in there. So he follows him. He says, wait up. And then he goes, Roger, is your insurance paid up? Because I think there might be a bomb in here.
And you know what's funny? Danny Glover was dripping sweat before he got in there. Like he already
he's sweating a lot.
He already had before he got in there, so he already had the sweat on there.
Yeah.
But so my question is, so they literally just pulled up. I mean, like he was flying in there, just pulled up, told the cop, he's walking in there. He doesn't think there's a bomb in there, but somehow Riggs knew exactly where to go, where the bomb was, and what floor it was on.
I know.
What room it was in.
It seemed like it was like a big parking garage, and he was able to find like that old ass car that had it all rigged up.
Yep.
And I love when he's talking about the wires. Like, dude, I would have passed out if I was Murtaugh. I would pass out when he's like, okay, blue. Remember when you're on the toilet? Remember that? Yeah, I saw the bomb squad guys. They cut the blue wire. Okay, and then he's talking. He goes, all right, so that's why I'm going to cut the red wire.
The fact that he's busting him and like making him, he's already okay. We are talking about a death machine in front of you, and he's busting him and like joking around, like like you got to be nervous as it is. Like if you're Murtaugh, I mean, he's like obviously, but then he's gonna say, oh, maybe I should do the red one or the blue one. He's lucky he didn't have a heart attack right there. The fact that like seriously, like it's like, and why wouldn't they quickly run out of there? Like is Riggs really that good with bombs that's okay to do?
No, he's terrible with bombs because look what happened when I love that a cat scared them. A cat, was it a black cat?
No, I don't think so. I think it
wasn't
an orange
okay.
cat. I think it might have, but you're right. You know what? He is terrible because the other bomb went off too. Like he's never, so what qualifies him to be a bomb expert that the police are okay him doing it when he blew up this house the last time and now he's got a huge building here.
They should let him. I love that when they're like, oh, the bomb squad's in the way, and he's like, yeah, but how long are they going to be? They're 8 minutes out, I think.
They're not going to get here in time, is what he said. Yeah.
8 minutes. But no, he sips the wrong wire, and then it starts accelerating the time. It's like going so fast. They're like, we better get out of here.
So is that how bombs work? Because you see that in every movie. If you just cut one wire, it either makes it go faster or one wire shuts it off. Like, is that?
That's a great question. I would love.
If I'm a bomb
movies,
it is a trope. Every single movie, and like it's one or the other. And if I'm a bomb expert and I'm watching these movies, I'm thinking like, all right, I got to make a bomb that's different than the other ones. Like, why am I going to make one that if they just randomly cut one, it might just ruin my plans because I put a red and blue wire.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you change the color of the wire? It's not like a red wire and a blue wire is different. I don't think they're different wires. I think they're just to indicate where something goes to something else. So why wouldn't you just be like, when you're building it, I know the blue wire is going where the red should go. So when these cops, these morons, when they think they're snipping the right wire.
You know what? I'd be curious to know in every movie that has this trope, if it's always the same wire that shuts it off.
That's true.
Like, is it
always every color wire?
Or you're going to tell me you're making a bomb. How about throw some fake wires in there? Like you have 8 minutes to get rid of this bomb. I would throw in like 25 wires, and now they have to figure out, and some of them might not be attached to anything. But you know what though? It's going to take time, and they're never going to they're never going to shut it off.
Yeah, and the fact that one of the wires shuts it off, the other one makes it explode, and then in this case, one of the wires makes it the time do triple time. Because then they have to bolt out just in time. And there's a lot of buildings in this movie that I guess that LA was getting ready to demolish because there's the one now and then the one late in the movie, a little post-credits action that we get. This one is reduced to rubble.
Think about how much that cost. All the businesses that were in there, and again, the people that were probably in there.
The lives that were lost.
How are they still cops? If you think about all the people that they've destroyed in between their chases and buildings and everything else, for instance, even in the second one, when they pull the house down, at the end of the movie, when he pulls that house down, you're gonna tell me that guy didn't have any maids or like people that are cleaning the house. Like they've murdered so many people in the whole franchise, and they're still cops.
And the next day they just go to work. They don't take off. Like, hey, you know what? You need some time. You need some time.
You know what? They never take off. Well, I you know what? I'm sure if Roger he would take off if he could, but I think just Riggs is just so hyped up that he can't take off.
No,
he can't. He can't. He has to be in the action all the time.
And then what happens because of what they did? They get they don't lose their jobs. They just get demoted to foot patrol, and you get Riggs he has a ponytail. So he has like the pony that is in now, the one that the kids, Gen Zers do, the little pony. He does it. And then dude, how about, wait, okay. Wait, oh my God. So they didn't lose their job from the bomb that just went off, but how about when he's about to murder a jaywalker?
And they're both laughing about it. Like, that's okay. Like, that's okay to do, to make this guy crap his pants. And like, I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, in real life, wouldn't that guy like now contact the police department and say, hey, I was walking across the street and your cop pulled a gun on me and threatened to shoot me?
Yeah.
No fear.
And then, like you said, right place, right time. After this situation, they look over and after they walk away, and they see an armed robber. They see an armored van getting taken, which is a kind of a funny part because the guy, not knowing who works for, I don't know if it was a bank, I don't know what the place was, but he's walking out and he's like, okay, guys, here you go. And just so happened that the real armored car was pulling up.
So you're right. So you basically like no credentials. As long as you pull up with an armored car, it works for me. Like, like
giving you the money.
I would think in like, again, I don't know anything about the business of, driving an armored car, but for the most part, you probably have the same route every time. So familiar face every time you go there. Like, you would think that would be the same people. So the fact that you have two random people you don't even know somehow just, let's give them all the money. It's okay.
That is something in the movies. The trope in movies when it comes to armored car, it's always like it's the normal guy. And the only time they can ever do something is if they somehow make something, oh man, Joey's sick, or Joey's wife's in the hospital. And it's like, oh man, I hope she's okay. It's like, that's okay. I'll be back tomorrow.
They believe everything. You just give them one excuse and it's like, okay, I replaced Joey today. Okay.
Did you see who the driver was? It was a little Death Wish 4. He played the street punk, Mark Pellegrino. He was in like a ton of stuff. Dexter kills him. He's the alcoholic father.
You're right.
And he's pretty good in this.
The fact that this is a major crime. These guys just blew up a building, and now the next day they're dealing with machine guns and a car chase. The next day.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, there's no slowing down at all. Like, I in fact, throughout the whole movie, let's just say, I don't know how many days the movie takes place, but maybe a week.
What do you mean? It's 8 days.
Okay, 8 days. Okay.
His retirement. The end of the movie is his retirement day.
You're right. Okay, so 8 days. How many major crimes that they had to deal with in 8 days? Most police officers, a lot of them never shoot a gun in their life. Right, they're on the street or they don't. These guys, how many people not only shot the gun, how many people did they kill in 8 days?
I know.
That's ridiculous. But yeah, the car chase is pretty cool. Riggs is absolutely crazy in this scene, But the woman, like, what was the? It was. I don't know. It was like forced comedy in this chase scene.
Yeah, they were trying to like force it in there. And what I did like the callback at the end because I forgot about her because I was like, we're never gonna see her again, right? And then Roger admits she won't stop calling me. Why wouldn't he just be like, I'm married? Like,
right.
That's it.
That's it. Like, if maybe he was single, it would be funnier. Right. I think but the fact that he's married and he doesn't tell her once, to me, it was totally forced upon. I think it would have worked better if Roger was single and, she's like hounding him. Then that's a little different. I think that would work better.
Yeah. I do like how Riggs is able to, man, he's so badass, be able to get into the car, slams the brakes, and then Mark Pellegrino flies through it. He cuffs him there. And then when the girl parks, the lady, and Murtaugh, he goes, man, she's a dynamite driver. And she goes, this is dynamite too. And then plants one on him.
Well, she does a few things. Doesn't she almost grab him later on or something? Or doesn't she?
Oh, yeah. Later, I think she tries to pinch his ass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now from there, we get, boom, retirement counter. Because we started at day 8 when the bomb was going off at the building. So day 7, armored car. Day 6, we're on now. And this is where Riggs is there. And then we get real estate agent Leo Getz.
See, again, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess he's needed in this movie because they had to get some, people that he worked with, so they did their own investigation. But again, like especially when he first comes there, it's just so ridiculous. And then he's trying to sell the other person. I think at one point he was trying to sell another cop some real estate.
Well, no, he's not even selling. He just, he is trying to sell, but it's funny. He's like, "Do you own your own home?"
Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. It just,
Hey,
and
what's
not for
ridiculous?
Nothing. Wait.
They never mention as to us as the audience, where were they going to move to?
Oh, I don't think. I mean, I don't think that matters. Why does it matter?
No, I know, but it would have been because we'll talk about it later, where I thought there was something that they cut out of the movie, because there was a very random scene that sort of made no sense. But when I talk about it later, maybe it'll make sense. But it was just weird. It's like, oh yeah, Leo's selling the house because we're going to move, and I'm like, you have kids in school still.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Well, first of all, would you ever trust Leo to sell your house? Like if he's not a used car salesman, just the way he is. I mean, I would never. The blonde haircut. See, like that was so dumb. Like to me, it totally. First of all, he did that before Eminem. Like he had the Eminem haircut before Eminem.
Trendsetter.
But I mean, like I would never trust him. But isn't he a criminal? Like, was it like what, or was he just he was an informer?
Well, he got a deal because he was money laundering, and I think he was some kind of accountant, because in the second movie, I told you, I rewatched it. In that movie, he teaches them about money laundering, and he also talks about like Roger, how he doesn't make enough money, and it's really hard to be able to take deductions. There's like this whole weird scene between them. But how about this? So just to start what you mentioned earlier with Riggs and Ryan, that's her real name. What's the daughter's name in this movie? I forget it. But her real name's Ryan something. But anyway, how about when he calls? Ryan Murtaugh. That's her name in the movie. But the fact that when she calls, okay, Riggs answers the phone, and it's so weird. And they flirt in the second movie. They flirt, I think, even more.
Okay, first of all, why is he answering the phone at Murtaugh's house? True. Again, like you said, is he living there? Like, I mean, first, does he still have the motorhome? Does he go to the motorhome? Oh yeah, he does stop by there once, right? I think.
No, he's definitely in there. Yeah.
Okay, so like, why he definitely made himself at home there, and what is he gonna do when they move? Like, because that seems like he seems to be there more than his own home.
Yeah, and let's talk about this. He has no mortgage payment, no car payment. He must be loaded. He doesn't do anything. He's always working.
He probably works overtime. I mean, he doesn't rest. I mean, he sleeps with his gun. So he's almost like Tackleberry. He's like a Tackleberry.
He can be related to Tackle. He kind of looks like him. He can be in the same family tree, I think. They'd be good partners. Oh my God, they'd be great.
Oh, forget
about it. Just imagine the bloodshed if Tackleberry was in a real action movie.
If criminals knew that Tackleberry and Riggs were partners, that would be probably the safest town to live in.
Yeah, 100%. I love Tackleberry. We're gonna do another Police Academy this year. We got four to choose from, -7. I don't want to do Russia.
Ugh. Well, you might not have a choice. What?
No,
you're saving
four other ones to choose from.
And if we don't get anyone, what are you saving? Russia for tomatoes?
No. Well, that's France.
Oh, it's France. Okay. France, Russia, same thing.
Oh my gosh. We just lost all the French people.
I think we lost them a long time ago.
Probably. But so then just the way Leo is talking to the clients, and what did he keep saying? Full disclosure? It's disclosure, Roger. Because he's like, I have to tell you that drug dealers went through this bay window. You like this window? A bunch of drug dealers went through it.
Yeah. Well, he did. Every room was another murder or death in this house, Yeah. I mean, and he also has earrings in this movie, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, dude.
What? Okay. What are they
He's
going
like a
for?
Divorced dad. He's a divorced dad trying to fit in with his kids.
He's already an annoying character to begin with, and now you're giving him annoying hair and annoying earrings. And this is a guy that is such a badass mafia guy in movies, and this is what he's down to. Like,
he loves it. He could have done whatever he wanted to. And what did they do right after this? Gone Fishing
What do you
came
do?
out like the next year.
Oh. Oh. Well, listen. He also did 8 heads in a duffel bag. So
That's
I
not a
mean,
terrible movie. He's a good mobster in that movie.
uh,
His role, it's a silly movie, but
yeah, it is.
Benicio del
They-
Toro, Alicia Silverstone, not too.
I'm
bad,
just glad
too
it's not a sequel.
bad. 9 heads in a duffel bag. No, but I love when the people are like, "Is there anything else you want to disclose?" And he's like, "The upstairs bathroom was fully remodeled from a bomb explosion." Okay.
Do you,
Okay.
now,
Okay, Roger.
if you're a real estate agent, do you have to disclose like that a bomb went off in a house?
I don't know about a bomb. I think deaths. I guess maybe nobody died from that bomb.
No, but I mean, you have to disclose that deaths are there.
I think so.
Poltergeist was buried on top of a graveyard. They didn't know about it.
Well, they didn't know about it because they just moved the headstone.
But I wonder, if you have to disclose, it could be unless I like say someone asked, "Oh, did anyone die in this house?" Yes, you got to
like,
disclose
oh
it.
shit.
But if they don't ask, I wonder if you have to disclose it. Like, you have to disclose every negative thing that's happened in the house. We had an exorcism in the den. We have an exorcism in the den. We had a murder in the basement.
Yeah, Gary Busey and Riggs foot on the lawn over here on Christmas. No, you're right. I don't know if there's a real estate agent. Let us know. If you're selling a house that somebody gets like murdered in, do you have to say like, okay, this is a great deal. It's $270. $270 for this neighborhood. I wonder why. Well, there was a triple homicide in the basement.
The fact that they've sold the Amityville house multiple times. I mean, my guess is you don't have to disclose it unless you're asked. Only because think about every house that's I'm sure there's a lot of houses in the real world that have murders that happen in the house, and those houses always get sold.
Sure.
Because
so it's like the cop question, and when you ask like a undercover cop, "Are you a cop?" They have to say yes. Real estate agent. Were there murders here? And they're like, "Damn it, I got to tell you, yes, there were murders here."
Would you buy a house that you knew someone was murdered in it?
If there was a finished basement, I might.
Well, it depends what kind of murder. Like if it wasn't a bloody murder, then maybe, if they murdered like they put a pillow over their face and while they're sleeping, that's okay. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, like a little bit of little droplets in there, like Cheerios or something. They died. That's fine. Okay, I'm cool with that.
All right,
but no, I don't want like blood stains in the carpets or blood stains in the hardwoods. Chalk outline. You have to leave it on the. You have to.
Well, it gives the house character.
It does. My kids' friends can come over and lay in the spot. Exactly like that. But yeah. So then from here we get like another. It's so cool. Like that's why I love 80s movies, as you know. But I think 80s had so much going on. There was like so much to talk about when it comes to like social issues, but like the 90s, everything's in here. Gangs, evil developers. It's like evil developers is such a 90s trope that I love. But with Roger's son, he's hanging out with gang members in this movie.
And just they're like during the day, so tropey, the way they look in the car, like they're about to do something. Like if they were just driving around a regular town, cops would be all over them. Like, they're searching them. They would see that the car had guns and all that. I mean, it was just so obvious the way they had that. So, but I do like the fact that, his son, who's a straight, usually a good kid in all the movies, that he's hanging out with this, kind of give me the vibe of, what's the movie with Ice Cube? The
Boys in the Hood?
Yeah. Like just the way they looked in the car, like they had that, look. So yeah. But you know what though? Being in LA, I mean, back then it was, I think, with a lot of drive-bys and everything else, that was probably common.
Yeah. And the fact that it could just take your kid, you don't have a lot of money. Somebody says, "Hey, here's how you can make money." You could belong to somebody because it was his friend growing up. Like they knew the family real well from like the scene that we see later in the movie. But But if Riggs knows right away, he goes, "Yeah, I like his colors." His colors.
Yeah, but Roger is a cop, so he should have a sense about these things. How is he not noticing his son's hanging out with a bunch of gang members at all?
He does not notice, and all he cares about is learning the lingo, like word, right?
Oh yeah,
word?
right. So I'm questioning: is Roger really a good cop? Because it seems like Riggs is the one that sniffs everything out, and Roger's just along for the ride.
But Roger shows some.
Well, right.
Some of the things he does in this movie are pretty wild.
When he gets angry later in the movie, it was awesome. But that's the first time we've seen it in 3 movies, right?
Oh, I know.
I feel like he might not have even never shot his gun until he met Riggs, because I feel like he's always by the book and he's always playing it safe, and and Riggs. So I really question: is Roger really a good cop? Because I don't know. Has he solved anything? Like, I feel like Riggs has put everything together all the time.
Yeah, there was never a time that. Wait, how about in the first movie when he was when Riggs was tied up and Al Zhang was shocking him?
No. Murtaugh
didn't save him.
No, I think Riggs saved Murtaugh. Murtaugh was tied up.
Riggs
was hanging up.
Yeah, and he broke the guy's neck. Yeah,
and then he ran in there and shot everybody. And again, Murtaugh was tied up. I mean, he took a beating, but I don't think Murtaugh has done anything in 3 movies except for the one scene later on. Outside of that, he's done well. Not for nothing, he's also been trying to retire since the first movie. So he's past his prime.
He's trying. Well, we see a scene later that makes me think like, oh, maybe he should retire. But now we're at 6 days left to retirement. And then we see, like we just talked about, like the evil villains that are developers. And then we see Billy, who is one of the workers that for some reason wanted to go off on his own and rob an armored car without telling the evil developer, who had very like Patrick Kilpatrick vibes to him. Like, absolutely. I was like, at this time, we see Jack Travis, who we find out some interesting things about him later in the movie. But dude, what a way to go! In fact, and especially in front of I forget the guy's name, who was he was a gang leader, right? Yeah, he was.
Do you think you die first from suffocation or the cement hardening around you?
I think probably from suffocate. I would say.
Holy cow! Yeah. I mean, that would now. Do you have to disclose that if that was at a house?
Oh yeah.
Well, by the way,
development, right?
So by the way, there's a guy buried in your cement. We had to fill in the cement a little bit, so it's okay.
But because of it, we're knocking $20,000 off the asking price. And then it's like, well, is there any is the floor still smooth? Oh yeah, perfectly level. You can't even tell he's there.
Well, I don't know why developers don't do it more often. It's probably using less cement because the body fills up so much space. You don't need as much cement. So I think developers, if you're listening to this, start putting dead bodies in your cement, and I think you'll save money.
Yeah, you know what? And then you don't want to. Cemeteries won't get filled up. Why not?
The cost of housing will go down because you're using less materials. We just solve the problem.
Sticking dead bodies in between walls instead of insulation. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. It really is. Oh my God. So then another one. So dude, and then we get, what do they do? Oh, let me stop somewhere. And I love that. I was trying to think of what movie we've recently covered when they put the thing over the parking meter. What movie was that?
Mannequin, maybe? No. Was it? No.
Oh, it was Mannequin 2. You're right.
What?
When he parked and he put the thing out of order. Riggs was going to use a paper bag to put over the meter. He's a cop.
Does that work?
I don't know.
First of all, if he's a cop, doesn't he have something in his car that says I'm a cop? Like a shield or something? Why would he have to use a toll? That doesn't make sense.
That is true. Or just get a quarter. Well, it was a nickel back then, probably.
And does he have a paper bag in the car all the time for that reason?
Oh yeah, probably from his Jack Daniels bottle from that night. He always just drinks out of a bottle. He never goes to a bar. That's why this guy's he has stacks of paper in the bank. He never spends money. It's like a $20.
Well, he lives in a trailer that's pretty small. So, yeah.
And I was just trying to think about this. Is it legal where it is? Does he own that property, or they just not bother him because he's a cop?
Well, it's not property. Isn't it like a beach or something? Or is it
It
like,
is,
it's like a
that's what I
desert?
mean.
It's
No, it's on the beach, but I'm saying, like, is it just like they just
maybe
don't care because it's rigs, or nobody goes to that beach?
no, there's no one. First of all, there's no one ever there. There's no houses nearby. So they probably don't even know it's there. It's probably like some area that he found that he's like, yeah, I'm just going to park it right here. Yeah.
Nobody cares.
You, you know what? You know what finds it? Helicopters always seem to find it.
Yes, they do. And shoot it up pretty good. I love that somehow he's in like a basement. There's like a basement to sneak out from.
Wait a second.
Which is interesting.
Well, yeah. He has. Didn't it blow up in one of the movies? Was it the second movie?
Well, the second one, yeah, it gets like real shot up pretty bad. Yeah.
Okay, so he actually fixed it up and continued living in
it. Now because I just watched the second movie, I don't know if he went to it in the third movie. I'm trying to think if he did.
No, I thought he stopped by for something. I forget.
Pick something up. I don't know.
With Rene Russo, he didn't stop by there at one point or something, or
I don't know.
Because if he did, you're telling me he's in a fix up the whole day, because it got demolished, right, with the machine gun, right? With
he got shot. Yeah.
Do people do that? Like, if your trailer gets shot up by a machine gun in a helicopter, would you like get it fixed up or just get a new one?
I think you get a new one. I don't know how much they are, but I'm sure to get all his thing was like, man, that thing was destroyed.
It really was.
His dog saved the day. His dog told him people were coming. He wasn't even ready.
Oh, he had a different dog in the second one, right?
He had a different dog in the second one, and then
well, he has a dog in this one too.
He does get a dog in
which is amazing.
Yeah, how he gets it. Yeah. So then again, they park. He puts the paper bag over. Murtaugh's like, "Oh, I'll go get quarters. Don't worry about it." Which I don't even know why. What are they even there for at this point? Because seconds later, he sees an armed robbery, air quotes, happening, and it's Ryan Murtaugh. So he like runs over. He flies, jumps, starts to beat the shit out of the guy. And then he goes to her, "I thought you were in trouble." And she has like this look on her face, like, ah.
Yeah, but he wasn't in trouble.
What, no, it wasn't at all. But I'm saying, but it kind of turned her on.
Of course. It was like a hero.
Yeah.
Listen, it is Riggs. Not for nothing. He does get a girl in every movie. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so, I mean, it's Riggs.
But then what does he do after this? He beats the shit out of the director until he says, "I'll hire her back."
What's stopping the director after Riggs leaves saying, "Screw you"? I mean, you're still fired. Like, why would he continue to have her there? Like, yeah. Like, I mean,
I love the ovation too. The ovation of the people that were working there. Oh. It's like, everybody, Ryan, you got your job back. Yeah. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, another lawsuit. Like, he easily, just like the guy that was jaywalking. Now, so let's just say if the guy that was jaywalking did what most people would have done and called the police department and say, "Hey, I was getting harassed by this cop with a gun just for jaywalking." Now you have a director saying, "Yeah, this guy was choking me." Riggs should be off the street. I mean, he's obviously a menace to society, yet he's still allowed to carry a gun and do what he wants. He really does what he wants.
3 strikes. Oh no, 100%. But it's not even 3 strikes. He gets like 9 lives like a cat, and he's already used all of them up. In this movie alone, this movie's 8 days. He easily does 9 things that are illegal.
If this was reality, he would have been dead in the first movie. I mean, so like he's got more than 9 lives. I mean, he has literally should have died. I think every single scene he's in, he should have died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. So then we get again, Murtaugh's so tired and old. He's now this is I guess this is still day 6 again. I don't even know if it's on the next day, but he is accidentally shoots his gun when he's put it in the holster.
This is a good scene though. First of all,
it was a good scene.
The fact that he's 44, and now we know his age, and he's acting like he's like 65 and like really slowing down. Just that's why it's so weird that he's been talking about retiring for 3 movies, and he's still so young. Like his skills are not there anymore. That he's got to slow it down. Just yeah. But this scene with Riggs, though, it was just so awesome. Like what he does.
Just going absolutely nuts. And he just starts yelling at everyone that looks at him.
If you're a cop in his precinct, wouldn't you be afraid just to be near Riggs? I mean, it starts off in the first movie that they think he's a loose cannon. He only gets his cannon gets looser each movie.
He gets looser.
I mean, so like I don't know how anyone could even want to be near him. Like, look how he acts in the locker room like that, and the fact that they didn't bat an eye. Like he went overboard crazy to protect Murtaugh, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, it's Riggs. That's normal. That's normal behavior."
Yeah, but what about when the janitor is there later that night sweeping the floor and he notices a hole in the ground? Hey, did anybody hear any gunshots? Because I've got a bullet hole, and they're like, "Oh shit! Somebody shot. If Riggs shot the floor, or Murtaugh shot the floor." So no, real quick, what does the term "loose cannon" mean? I know what it means. Like you're crazy,
right? But why does it? Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know.
How is a cannon loose? A cannon is something you put a cannonball in, you light the fuse, and it blows up.
Well,
if it's
a cannon, if one of the screws are loose on the cannon, I mean, duh.
I'm gonna start using it like a tight cannon. You're a real. Tight
why?
Cannon.
But why is that? Yeah, I'd be curious. Why is that related to someone going crazy? Like someone crazy. That we have to look. We got to find out. All right, anyone that has a loose cannon, please let us know. Why you have a loose cannon.
Yeah, why don't you tighten it? Tighten up a little bit. But yeah, so how about little guy Miguel Nunez is in this? Those damn enchiladas plays like, I think it's like cadet number 5 or something.
He's a rookie. I mean, obviously, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Another 90s trope, hollow point bullets. That's another big 90s trope in these movies. It's like, oh man, this is something. Bad guys, cop killers. These are cop killers. Man, they just show they do that scene, and then they talk about the way the bullets work and what it's to do. Pretty cool. I love that it comes back at the end of the movie.
Yeah, well, of course, that's great. A major thing. But I love when Riggs is in a shooting gallery, a shooting area. And I mean, the first one is the best one. When he's in there and Murtaugh showing off and he shoots one bullet. And then Riggs does a happy face. Happy. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I wonder. I don't remember, but I wonder if that was a big thing back in the day of like those kind of bullets, because you see it in so many movies.
Yeah, well, I think that's when it started. Maybe it started in the 80s in the streets, and like, oh man, let's write this into movies. But here's the craziest part of the movie. So we get Jack Travis is visiting Mark Pellegrino. Because he's the only one that got arrested. Somehow the other guy ran away. That's what happened. Yeah. The other guy was able to get away. But Mark Pellegrino got cuffed. And so at the same time that Jack Travis shows up to the police station to look for him, he's posing, which we think at the time he's posing as a cop, but he's actually a former cop. He's a former lieutenant. At the same time, Rene Russo is introduced into the movie as internal affairs.
Yep.
What was that part of them whispering in the elevator like high school kids? Like, I don't understand that.
Well, okay, let's go back to Jack for a second. So,
yes,
this is a guy that's retired. Clearly, Rene Russo already knew about him, because we find out later on she knew about him. How does this guy have access to walk into a police department? And again, this goes same thing with the armored truck. You can show any kind of badge. No one questions it. As long as it looks like a badge, you're good. You can just walk freely in there. And I'm assuming if you have a witness that you have to, interrogate, only very few people could probably get into that room. Unless you have a fake badge, then you can get anywhere you want.
Yeah. Or no. Not even the fact that I would think there'd be somebody waiting outside the door. A, and B, wouldn't it be in a hallway that there's a lot of people walking around? Because it was like a secluded, like, end of the school. It was like where they used to put wood shop. At the end of the school, so far away, nobody else has to smell the wood. But in this one, it was like no one was around. He was able to go in, shoot him in the chest, and then walk out.
It was like, yeah, right. First of all, okay, so you're going into a police station. Don't they? I mean, again, I haven't been to too many police stations, but do they have metal detectors at police stations?
Well,
at
back
all?
then, probably not.
Okay, so even if they did it, so when he walked in, it almost looked like it was like he's walking into like an office building because it looked like there's just secretaries, a couple cops in the front desk,
Yeah.
and then that's it. You don't see another cop walking around the entire building that this guy has free range to go in.
Yeah, I was saying those cops must have like barely passed the exam because that's why they're like desk cops because they didn't. Why would they let this guy in? It made no sense. Like there has to be like a reason for people to be there, not somebody can just look for because he even asked about that guy. Like he knew exactly where he was because they told him.
And you have a guy in handcuffs with not one cop around. So you have a criminal who's in this room. Wouldn't there also maybe be a cop waiting in a room for someone to come in there? Like you're going to leave him alone that he could, who knows what he could do? Bang his head against the wall and, commit suicide or something. Like you're going to leave this guy alone there and not one cop around at all. Yeah, that was a little fishy.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
It
super fishy. And then
Lorna Cole. Hold on.
Yeah.
So Travis, being that he's on that wanted list, he's obviously known. He's a criminal. He gets around this movie as if no one's ever even heard of him before.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, he has access to anything he wants. He's not afraid to show his face anywhere. He knows people are looking for him, and he acts like, you know what? No one's gonna recognize me.
Yeah, Al Bundy writes bad checks. His face is everywhere in the greater Chicago area. But this guy, they can't give like a little photos like, hey, if this guy comes here, don't let him in.
He goes everywhere. He goes everywhere. Even later on, when the Riggs and Murtaugh recognize him, he still's able to get everywhere. He still walks around like he has no fear.
None at all. And he rightfully so because it works. He doesn't get caught. Nothing happens to him. So now with Renee Russo, Lorna Cole, we find out she's IA, she's internal affairs. How about when she reveals, because they're like, yeah, he's definitely a cop because the way he's standing, he knows where the camera is. You can't see his face. And then when they're like, she's like, no, but he doesn't know about this camera that we installed in the interrogation room. So we got a photo of him. And then it's like, oh, he's Jack Travis. And then the captain's like, son of a bitch. Like, it's like, what are you guys doing beating the shit out of people in that room? Like, come on.
Would that be legal to do? I don't know. Can internal affairs put secret cameras?
Hide cameras? I don't know.
I don't know. But I do love the captain. Like, he for what he does as he's like, Renee Russo's trying to bully everybody around in that office, and her captain. And the captain, like you see him, complying with everything she's saying, and then he gives them their badges back, and says, yes, go ahead, dude. I love that, like because he totally turned it around on them, so that was awesome.
Yeah, it worked out. So then the next part is when Leo shows up again,
Hey, Murph,
which is the only clip that I got video-wise.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, no, Leo. No, not now.
We gotta talk, babe. Okay?
Babe.
You're in trouble. You got termites.
Termites? Oh, God.
You're infested. Like the only thing that's holding up your house is the paint, okay?
Hey, Raj, I think we should go down. Hey, Leo, could you take a powder and get the place fumigated or something? Raj, I think we should go down to every file we've got on this guy.
Hey, I know this guy. What are you watching, Geraldo?
What did you say?
Geraldo.
Leo, how do you know?
I've seen the guy before.
You've seen him before?
Well,
Where? Have you seen him?
I don't know. I mean, I recognize him from someplace.
His name's Jack Travis, Leo. Does that ring a bell? Jack Travis.
Hey,
That ponytail's ridiculous, by the way.
Clothes, okay, baby?
This is great.
Okay.
Get off, hands off the clothes, okay, baby?
The big party.
Okay.
And somebody brought a monkey because the monkey knocked over the salad bar. And this guy comes and introduces
Murtaugh
me
is
to
44.
who wants to
Look at him.
I got it. And I remember.
You got it.
I remember.
You remember.
Hey, don't do it. Don't let the earring fool you. Okay. Hey, we're back. We're back. I'm back.
yeah.
Hey, listen. You think I can get a gun this
Dude, when he says, I remember there was a monkey because the monkey knocked over the salad bar.
I want to go to that party.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And just so many like again, it's some characters in movies are the ones that deliver to set like the tone of the, like you just said, Geraldo. He talked about don't touch my earring, which I guess was like some gay joke or something. Don't let the earring fool you, is what he said.
Well, it was, I think back in the day, if you had the earring in a certain ear,
the one ear, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, but I mean, again, talking about termites and a little comedy, it was, they needed him for these little things. Really, after this part, they got what they needed from him. They shouldn't use him anymore, but they bring him back later on again.
Just to bully him. And they bully him pretty bad, like later in the movie. But I love that his job, whatever he was like a gopher for like the mafia, it seemed. So he's like, I'm going to do whatever, but he doesn't remember what he goes. I got tickets to for something. Then we cut to the hockey game. He remembers getting the guy tickets because he likes hockey, but doesn't remember where. And then he's like, oh yeah, definitely in front of the glass.
This is something so recent. Like he just gave this guy tickets recently, and they happen to know that he's going to be in that game right there.
He loves hockey. He goes to every game of that very tiny arena. They did one shot. It looked so small, which is shocking that they couldn't have used like the LA Kings arena at that time. It was like whatever the minor league team or maybe a college. It was so small.
Did they see a picture of him yet? I don't think Rene Russo showed a picture, right, of him. They talked about
no, because they know who he is. Yeah, because they know who they're looking for because they're looking around for someone.
Oh, yeah, but I don't remember them seeing a picture of him. How did they know what he looked like?
I don't know.
I mean, because
they did. No, they did the video in the interrogation room.
Oh, you're right.
Okay,
Right. All right. Scratch that. All right.
And I love that they're like all doing it the right way. Murtaugh, even Leo looking around. But then we get Riggs. He takes the arena PA mic and just basically like, Jack Travis, you're caught. You're surrounded. Don't try to go to the exits because there's a cop waiting for you. I'm like, oh my God.
So he's there because Leo got him tickets?
No, he just knows that he likes hockey and he goes to all the games. That's all he knows.
That's stupid.
What are the chances he goes to that game?
I was going to say, so we had to deal with Leo just because he knows the guy likes hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would have been funny if they went and he wasn't there. Oh, no. Was it hockey? No, he likes basketball. And they go to the basketball game. He's not there. They go to all these different sporting events and he's just not there at all. But Dan, we'll talk about how badass that, like Travis to get away, man. He he beats the shit out of an usher who probably makes it this time $5 an hour.
Well, would you okay, so if he's looking at all the exits where you can see some exits where you're sitting, there's not one cop anywhere. So why, I know he probably thinks that they know where he's sitting, but he should have gotten just out of there. There wasn't a cop anywhere near him. Oh, no, he did. He did see some cops walking down that were randomly walking down. That's why he turned around and went towards the ice.
Oh my God. How about that? The running on the ice scene.
Well, I'm glad they did that because Riggs looked like he was struggling. I'm glad he wasn't doing it so smooth as a Riggs would do everything smooth because he was struggling and that made it better. So that was good. And
then Leo takes a bullet, sort of.
Well, did he take it? Yeah, I know. It's where did I thought it I thought it was a joking thing because when he started saying he's getting cold and
Murtaugh, funny.
Well, it's funny. I think the relationship is really between him and Murtaugh. I think Riggs can't stand him, and so
he hates him.
Really, Riggs doesn't like anybody. And if you think about it, Riggs also bullies Murtaugh a lot. He's always making fun of him, making him look like a fool in the office all the time. So Riggs really is a big bully.
Oh, he's a dick. Remember at the end of the movie when he talks about how unlucky he must have been to get a partner like him, and then he basically that final scene when he keeps popping his head up, and just saying lines over and over again, and it's basically man, he's messing with him till the end. If that was quote unquote going to be the last movie, he was messing with him till the very end of the movie.
Always, but he's that crazy guy that no one would stand up to anyway. So if you want him to stop, you're not going to ask him because he's too crazy, and he's a loose cannon.
You're right. But when he's like, I'm cold, Murtaugh. And Murtaugh's like, you're probably cold because of the ice. But here's the most messed up scene in any movie ever, I think, when they're at the doctor's to go to the hospital. He has a grazed bullet, and you have the doctor who looks like he was like an extra on like General Hospital. He goes, yeah, we'll get you out here in a few minutes. And then this doctor, who probably swears by some oath of doctors, within seconds, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, what you guys say? Yeah, we'll keep him for a day. 2 days? Maybe 3.
No, well, Riggs was throwing his fingers up. He goes.
No, I know that. I know that. But right. I'm saying the fact that he was getting bullied by them from that. Yeah. And then what does he do? He takes a chart and he writes Proctor exam.
And okay, so shame on the hospital. This guy's here for a grazed bullet in his arm, and they see a colonoscopy on his charts. They're not going to question that. Like, what does a grazed bullet have to do with getting a rectal exam? Yeah. Like, so who did and it just looked like he wrote it in the middle of the page. Like there was like no, it wasn't like a section like, what is this? It's like if he just wrote something randomly over a couple boxes, he might have wrote it over like the address. He just wrote down rectal exam.
It's like, oh, where's he live? Rectal exam street. That's not right.
See, this is something that would happen. I think it actually did happen in Police Academy. Didn't Mahoney do that for
yeah, he did.
Mauser?
Yeah. I think it was a rectal exam, right?
It was.
Yeah.
I think that's another trope that it's like a comedy thing. Like in the 80s, I guess people, made pranks and made some get a rectal exam.
But was Leo walking funny? All he did was have he had a sling that he wasn't wearing the rest of the movie. It was just hanging over his neck.
Wait, why would you be walking funny for a rectal exam?
I never had one.
Well, guess what? You're getting at the age where you got to get your first one.
I have to get it at 36.
Well, I had a colonoscopy at 45.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. It's the best sleep you'll ever have.
Really?
They knock you out. Yeah. Because they knock you out. They knock you out. You wake up. You walk crooked for a couple of days, and you're good.
Mr. Ricardo, you ready? Yeah, doctor. You gonna give me something?
You walk like they do in the cartoons in the Old West, with your legs like the cowboys in the Old West.
One thing, did you notice that after Leo was okay and the PA announcer said, everybody's gonna be all right, and the police started cheering, and I'm like, they're cheering, okay, I get that, but there's a guy that tried to murder someone at the game. Or how about the people that sit next to Jack Travis every game? It seems like he likes to go to hockey a lot. When they'd be like, holy shit, I used to drink beers with this guy and he's shooting people?
Not to mention, not one, I don't think anyone got up and to leave. Like, they were all still sitting there like this is part of the show. Like, this is part.
Yeah, they're going to start the game again? Are they going to start the game?
Well, they're probably like, you know what? We haven't seen a fight all hockey game. Now this is a fight.
Yeah. This equals all the fights throughout the game. But no, it was just funny. Everybody was like, yeah. Nobody panicking, running to the exits, right?
Not one person got up. Yeah. No panic.
Oh, my God. So here we go. So this is the part that I was talking about earlier. Because they never mentioned like where they were going to move to. Or like what the goal was. So wasn't it random that they went to Fast Eddie's for the food? And then Roger goes, I'm going to cook you the best burger you ever had in your life. And in my head, I'm like, he's about to announce that he bought this place. And he's going to be.
You thought he was going to retire as a cook in a.
Yeah.
Okay,
it was just too random. Like, what place? I know he's a cop, so that was probably on his beat when he was younger. Maybe when he was a detective, so he went there a lot. But I don't know if I can go to any restaurant and be like, hey, hey, Bobby, can I take the spatula? I think they'd be like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Well, it looked like it wasn't his first time. So I'm assuming he goes, no, he's definitely done that before.
And then where are they? Right by, Riggs goes, let me go smoke a butt.
Right next to another crime. I mean, like, it's literally, like I said, it everywhere that Riggs walks around, no matter where he is, he's going to find a major crime. It's not even a petty, it's always a major crime. that follows him.
He's a tractor beam. He's a tractor beam.
He really is. And
major
the
crimes.
fact that, again, Murtaugh never notices anything. He's the last person to notice anything going on, until Riggs sniffs it out.
Well, until we hit gunshots. It's usually gunshots, and then he's like, "Hey,
Right.
where'd he go?"
Well, he knows Riggs involved somehow, and then but you notice that every time Riggs is the one that sniffs it out, and Murtaugh is just clueless about it. I wonder if he's one of those cops that you used to hang around the front desk, like the other cops that let Travis in.
Well, I love that he goes up, Riggs goes up, and then he goes to stop them, and he's like, "Police!" And then they start firing Uzis at him, and Murtaugh kind of comes in and sort of like saves the day in a way because he starts firing, but at the same time, Riggs gets hit from behind with a 2x4, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's like knocked out.
Where'd that guy go?
Like I don't know.
So he just basically hits him, and then it's like, this Riggs is a cop who's basically trying to shoot everybody. So at this point, they're shooting back. So if Riggs survives, we're in trouble. Like, we're shooting at a cop right now. This guy's just going to hit him in the back with a wood and leave. He's not going to kill him.
Murder, right? He would go for murder. If you're shooting at someone, it means you're trying to murder him.
Correct. And then he disappears. And
he does.
And Riggs has taken many beatings. Never been knocked down like that by a piece of wood. That did it for him.
That's where I wrote down, maybe he should retire too. Maybe he should retire in 5 days.
I mean, he was shocked to almost death in the first movie, and he was able to choke a guy out with his legs. He was drowning in mud, and he still came back. But no, a wood to the head, that does it.
Yeah. Jet Li's choking him out in Lethal Weapon 4, and he can survive that, but 2x4 Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I'm out.
Yeah. And, I would think swinging a 2x4 would be difficult to really get a strong momentum. Not that you can't swing hard. It's not like swinging a baseball bat because it's kind of wide, right? So it's
hard to grip it. Yeah.
It's hard to really grip it. So really, that's what knocks Riggs out.
But Murtaugh comes up, and then they start firing on the one guy that's left, who's like hiding in like a shed, and then they get him.
How do they know? How do they know? No, there's no one else in that shed. Like maybe his pregnant girlfriend,
or another guy with a gun that's just not firing.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, but he's got a gun, so at least But there could be innocent people in there. I feel like when they're trying to stop a crime from happening, all rules go out the window. If you're in the area,
they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Well, because you know what? It doesn't matter. They're going to work the next day. They can do anything. They can
know
shoot
that
the pregnant girlfriend.
And then the worst. What's the worst that's going to happen? They'll be on the street with a gun and still stopping other crimes. So let's think about that. So they were punished. They were punished for blowing up a building, not knowing how many people that might be in that building, damaging. It's costing so much money, and they were punished by going on a street with their guns, able to stop other crimes. So basically, were they punished at all? Like, what was the punishment? They lost their car. I think that was
lost their car, and they had to wear their uniforms.
Oh, that's embarrassing though.
Button ups, yeah. Oh my god, I go to this button up shirt, these blues.
Oh man.
Oh my god. And the last gang member, it ends up being Daryl, Murtaugh's son's friend that we saw earlier. It's kind of like, wow, man, this is like deep.
I feel like this is where it starts. The movie becomes two movies, right? You have a lot more comedy in the first half, and then this is where it starts getting a little bit more serious. I mean, this gets pretty heavy too.
Oh yeah, dude. This whole scene with him just seeing Murtaugh go that way, it was pretty different. And then at the same time we get and then we have Rene Russo. And then no, you know what I want to ask? So when we saw Murtaugh, when Riggs called Murtaugh's wife and was asking like, "Oh, is he home?" And she was like, "Oh, he hasn't come home yet." And we see him parked outside of a house. It doesn't look like his house. I was thinking that was the house of Daryl's parents, and then he just couldn't get the courage to get out because all we saw was him sit there. Okay. Because I'm like, I know what their house looks like because we've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
There's the garage on the right, and there's like the addition he put above it. Okay.
I think it was Daryl's house, and because he was there to tell the mom, and he couldn't do it. No, I agree. So and but yes, back to Rene Russo. This is where she starts. We see what she can do. Correct.
Well, not yet. This is when. Well, soon. This is where we see her in the men's room, and then she does the old push him in so he gets his penis.
That was pretty funny, but wouldn't that again? There was another guy in there. Wouldn't he have a problem with that?
And she's internal affairs. That's illegal. That's that's what they investigate.
So literally, the cops here could do whatever they want, wherever they want, however they want, and it's okay.
No rules. And then talking about no rules, how about when he's because he wants to work with her and she wants information, so they kind of come to an agreement. How about when she just has an Uzi in her office?
Yeah.
Here, let me show you this.
Before we even get there, so I'm glad they did address this though when he was going to shake her hand and she asked him to wash his hand, because I was waiting for him to do that so I could say, and he did that without washing his hand. So they did address that, so I thought that was pretty good.
Look at that.
So,
Rene Russo is so good. I'm trying to think of one of her first big movies. Was it this? Was it
Major League, or wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but was she in anything before that?
You know what? I don't know.
She's kind of like an afterthought character because I know she's a big part of the movie being with Tom Berenger.
Yep.
But
no, but you know what though? This just shows you though, they really can make anyone an action star because she's not an action person. She's not
it was pretty bad. Some of the fighting was pretty bad.
No, it was, but that's what I mean though. You could literally make Mr. Bean an action star if you wanted to, and he was, wasn't he? Wasn't he the agent?
Johnny Dangerously, right?
Johnny English. Johnny English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they really, in the movie, you can make anyone an action star. But it is funny because she is basically Riggs as a female.
Pretty much, yeah, because she no rules for her too, because she's a rule breaker, which is kind of weird for internal affairs because she tells him about, hey, this is what Jack Travis did. A warehouse got busted for 15,000 guns were stolen, and it was Jack Travis who probably tipped somebody off to steal them, which is pretty interesting.
But would she be allowed to tell him? If she wasn't allowed to tell him, but she's also, I'm assuming, probably not allowed to sleep with him either. And so,
oh my God, that scene, because she was not into it. And he was just like, hey, you started it. And I'm like, whoa.
Well, he did take it a little far.
He did. When he said that line, I was like, oh. Well, and then she was not into it.
Wait a second. You think that line, not the fact that he was standing in his underwear?
That's what I mean. He was in his underwear when he said that line.
Yeah, right.
And then he goes, you
started it.
He said he says you started it. And then she's like, yeah, I can end it. And then he walks up and tries to kiss her. What if she was like, whoa, dude, I just told you I ended it. Stop.
Listen, this is Riggs. He knows when he's like, every woman likes him. Every movie he was able to get someone.
And let's be honest. Even if he was in trouble for it, he'd be at work the next day. He's got the Monopoly Gold get out of jail free card.
I don't think he sleeps. He seems like and he doesn't do drugs and he stopped drinking. I'm assuming. I don't think he drinks because he didn't drink in this movie at all. Even when, I don't think he was drinking. Even when Murtaugh was wasted, I don't think he was drinking with him.
No, yeah, I don't think he was. Oh no, so he threw it in the ocean.
But he acts like he's on coke all the time. Like he's just so hyped up all the time. But that scene when they're showing the scars was very funny. That was good. That reminded me of Jaws.
No, that was great. But one of my favorite parts of this whole movie was when they're going to the warehouse to do it. How about when she tells that really dumb joke, scenario about the lingerie shop?
Yeah.
And I friggin' loved it because even when she said it, I was so confused. It made no sense. And then when they get into the warehouse and they're really quiet, and he goes, "Yeah, that was
he goes, I don't get it. He goes, I don't get it.
Yeah. She goes, what do you mean? Lingerie shop. Why would? Yeah.
The fact that they went back to it was very funny because I honestly thought I was missing something. When she says a joke, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I don't understand, but maybe I'm just missing something. But yeah, that was pretty funny. That was
No,
good.
it made no sense. But what made even more no sense, if that makes sense, is when he starts talking dog.
He's like that dog whisperer or whatever. Like the what's it?
Oh, Caesar Milan?
Caesar. Yeah. I mean, okay, this is clearly these are bad guys, right? They between the guns, and I'm sure they deal with drugs, tons of money. You're gonna tell me they're gonna have a guard dog that basically will calm down just by another person kind of talking to them, like
Acting
making
like a
I'm
dog?
sorry, not even talking, making noises at a Rottweiler, and
Yeah.
it calms him down. Well, again, he's part animal. In this movie, he's part like Jekyll and Hyde. He has two personalities that kind of come out, and maybe he's part dog.
I
The
would
dog understood
love.
him.
I wonder if they made him do like multiple takes, because he probably been like "F you," because at one point he starts licking his lips, and I'm like, this is just weird. Like,
Again, that was, I think, a stupid. I think it would have been funny if he had a piece of meat in his pocket and threw it down, like they do in other movies. Because that always works too. If you bring a steak, raw steak, it always stops the dogs.
well, you do remember they shared a bone. He broke it in half, and they both had a bite.
Well, okay, we didn't address that. The fact that he was eating dog biscuits the entire movie. He was at Murtaugh's house early in the movie. He was looking for a snack, and Murtaugh gave him the box. And for some reason, he kept eating them and literally carrying him around the rest of the movie. So Riggs is definitely, like I said, he's an animal in this movie. He's
part dog.
He is so unhinged in this movie. It's ridiculous. He's literally eating dog biscuits.
He lives on dog biscuits and cigarettes, because he never eats the burger that Roger wants to make.
And let me tell you something. I tried a dog biscuits one. I was curious. It is the driest thing ever, and I don't recommend it. So the fact that he's eating it like he's eating crackers is ridiculous.
Why do dogs like it if it's so dry?
Well, think about dog food. Like I say this all the time. Like we have this big bag of dog food for my dogs, and every time we pour it in the morning, they get excited like it's the first time they're trying steak. It's like the same boring thing over and over again. Well, think about this. Think about, I think it was Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise in Cannibal Run, when he shoves hay in his mouth, and he's like, I don't understand how horses eat this shit.
Oh yeah, in Cannibal Run too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing. Like, look at hay, how boring, but they get so excited about this stuff. Can you imagine having something like the same meal over and every single day, and getting excited for it every single time?
It must be great. It'd be a great feeling. I complain about making dinner, and these guys are like, "Oh my god, dry food! Yes."
It really boggles my mind, because it is so dry and gross, and the fact that they get excited about it.
So this is where you kind of mentioned before. So this is Lorna. So she shows up, guns pointed, and then we get a guy come up behind her with a gun. And what do you think? It's over. Scene's over. Guns pointing at her. And then she beats the shit out of every single person there.
And we see this in every movie. So they weren't expecting that. So the first guy, I get it, right? The first guy was unprepared. He got his butt kicked. But when there's about 5 guys there, and they all see what she's doing, why they wait? Like they easily could overpower her, because there was like 5 on, and she's a small woman. She's not a big woman, right? So you're gonna tell me they couldn't like bum rush her? They're doing one at a time. That's clearly not working, because she's knocking every single guy out. Like not one person was left standing.
I know, and I love how like Riggs shows it off later. Oh, watch her,
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I remember they know each other for a few days.
Well, especially later on. Like,
No, I know.
I did write that down. Like, how long do they really know each other? Because they act like they've been married for years.
No, I know. She better be in. If a 5th one's definitely happening, she has to be in it.
Have you seen her in anything? Like, I wonder if she's still acting. I haven't seen her.
No.
Like, yeah.
She's
All
good.
right.
She was even good in the 4th one. But so then at this point they escape with the shipment. He even waits for the dog. But what makes 0 sense to me? The guns fall out of the truck. and then they just leave them. So the guns are on the streets.
Well,
They don't break.
It did take a while to fall out of the truck. The back door was open, and they were driving around with it open. Nothing was moving at all.
Yeah.
But they just, so they're trying to get the guns off the street, and then the ones that fall on the street, they just leave there for the guns to be on the street again.
They wanted them off the street, and then literally they put them
on the street.
Not for distribution, but on the street, right in the middle of the road.
Well,
and I
you
love
think
that the bad guys complained about it like they ruined the guns.
They
seemed
seemed more concerned. They seemed more concerned about it than the cops. Like they were just, but you think about it this way, I think Riggs wants it on the street because if it's not on the street, he gets no action.
That is true. He wants more guys.
So he needs guns on the street for him to be able to do his job.
The reason I'm saying that is in the next scene, Jack Travis is talking to the gang leader that calls him and says, "All the guns that I was going to get, I don't have them anymore." And I'm like, why not? You had like 15 henchmen that were still alive. They pick them up one by one, throw them in a truck. They're good. It's the middle of the night. Like, what's the point?
And the main gang leader was like a grown up. Like he was like an older guy.
That's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah.
But okay. But the rest of the gang were like in their 20s.
Well, that's what they do. It's like a cult.
Is that how gangs work? Like, is it like, well, you know what? Remember American History X? You've seen that, right?
Oh yeah, it was Keach.
Yeah, the main guy was. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I guess that's how gangs are done. Yeah, okay.
And then now here's a scene with we kind of talked about comparing the scars like in Jaws. And I love my favorite line out of all of them was Riggs when he goes, "Yeah, some guy mistaken my head for a log." That was a good one.
They were a lot. They were shot up a lot between the both of them. A lot of bullets in them. Okay.
How are they still alive? How about the ones on his back? When they showed he goes, three bullet wounds.
And he was dragged. You see how rough his back was?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
He makes Rambo look good with his scars.
Yeah, but at that point, man, they bone. The dog turns over, so he doesn't have to watch them boning. And then the whole time, I'm thinking, what about Ryan Murtaugh? Because I really think that's such a weird thing in this movie. I know obviously the age gap and it's your partner's daughter, but they like really have weird chemistry. Even the second one when I watched it, I'm like, this is like.
Well, do you remember the first one? I think she was like staring at him at dinner the whole time.
Oh yeah. She was into him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah.
Because at that point, think about if you were saying when this came out, he was in his mid-30s.
I think so.
The age gap, she was like in that movie, she played a high schooler. Right. He was probably like only like late 20s, maybe at that point.
Which
so she was like
blows my mind. Like if that's the
I
case.
know, right?
Like
even the fact that I'm the same age as Riggs.
I know that's what I'm saying. I mean, you look, you look like you could be a Riggs.
You be a Riggs.
I do love the fact that he's always doing Three Stooges stuff. He's always every bad guy they're trying to interrogate, he's always like poking them in the eyes.
Yeah.
Or playing with their face. He's always like putting his fingers in his
So then we get after this happens, this is when we cut to Riggs finding Roger drunk on his boat, gun in hand, and then the first line that he says to him, he goes, "Yeah, your Ryan told me that you were here and to come check on you." And he goes and he has the gun in his hand. And he goes, "My daughter came to your trailer." So I guess he still has a trailer or the trailer's in the driveway. I don't remember them showing that, but he's got to have it.
Wait, you think he's living in their driveway?
I don't know, but that's the only indication that the trailer's still alive. So it's somewhere.
No, there's no way he's leaving that spot. It's the perfect spot for him. He's such a loner.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, no, it's not. But Riggs knows how Roger feels about his daughter. Riggs knows that Roger is I'm going to say loose cannon again. Right now, drunk, extremely depressed with a gun in his hand. Why would you lead with the most sensitive topic to try to calm him down? Like you're clearly doing the opposite
with him. Yeah, he loves messing with him.
Even at this point.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care because what is the line he says next? He goes, "Come on, you got 3 days until your retirement. Calm down." The better line would have been like, "Hey, how about you just like take a few days and then you'll be done. Then you don't have to do this any." And it was weird to see Murtaugh as like not a good guy, like when he was drunk, like just the person that he was and the way he was acting. It was kind of odd to see. He's never like that. Danny Glover never plays a character like that.
But it was so good because you could totally see his shoes, being into his situation, what he did. But that also gets like, I'm guessing he hasn't shot too many people until he met Riggs because, I'm sure it's not the first kid in a gang that he shot before. I know this is different because he knows the kid. But I just feel like he's the type of guy that every person he kills, he feels some kind of remorse.
Yeah.
He does, like he said, he's more of a peaceful cop, very, by the book. So I think you can see it. And the acting between both of them in a scene was great.
Yeah. And then you think it was bad that he led with that line about the daughter? How about when he doubles up on it and he goes, "Yeah, you know what? I slept with someone I shouldn't have." And Murtaugh punches.
Well, not for nothing.
Murtaugh even has it in the back of his head too.
Riggs has no filter or whatever, so he's so like oblivious to the wrong things to say because literally everything he was saying was wrong at the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But just that it's so cool as the audience that there's like this inside joke, and then you finally see because there's times you see. Even at the end of the movie, we'll talk about that one later. But like you see these times, and you're like Roger, like maybe like does a little smirk or like looks a little like pissed. But like that line, he like real. That was the first time he's like, "Oh my god, you had slept with my daughter."
You saw crazy for the first time in Roger, and because there is a part where I wrote down crazy Riggs is the best. Because later on, when he goes crazy with 2 guns and everything else, but Roger also goes crazy, and this is the start of Roger going a little crazy. You could tell like he finally has some crazy in him that's coming out. And this is such again, in these 3 movies, I don't think they had an emotional scene the way they have in this, what's going on right here.
Yeah, there's like a stretch here because they have them on the boat. Then we have the Roger like teaching his son how to shave. And then talking about like his friend and saying he was sorry. And then they play Boys to Men. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And
really, you know what? I don't think anyone could really listen to that song ever because it is the most depressing because they use it in so many movies at like the most horrible situations that it's ruined the song. Like anytime you hear that song, you're thinking of death.
Yeah.
Like it's like, maybe the song was about a girlfriend's leaving. He's breaking up with his girlfriend. It's so hard to say goodbye. No, now it's all about death.
Or how about somebody that just had like a great day and they are going to sleep and it's hard to say goodbye to yesterday because when they wake up, it's going to be tomorrow.
Or someone is retiring and it's so hard to say goodbye to, your employees that you worked with for a long time. There's a lot of things it could be, but no, every movie puts it in. I think what's the movie? Again, I'm going to go back to it. Boys in the Hood. Was it in there?
Oh, Boys in the Hood.
Was it in there? It was probably in there.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, okay.
Boys to Men, classic. Still so good. They just did like, what did they do? They just did like the national anthem.
Well, they're on
something. I
think they're on tour with like Belle Biv DeVoe and like, 90s. So,
I bet.
They're great.
Yeah. So then from there, we get like not a Rocky 2 line, but we get when he goes to the mom of Daryl's mom and say, "I'm so sorry." She slaps him. And the dad goes, "You want to do something, Sergeant Murtaugh? Find the man who put the gun in my son's hand." And you're like, "Oh yeah." This is where he kind of goes crazy. Like you said, I wrote the same thing. I go, Murtaugh goes crazy, like crazier than Riggs at this point.
Well, because that was the line that he needed to hear. I think to get him motivated. Because I think if he didn't hear that and he just got the slap, I think he's still like, but the father giving him the okay, like, listen, I get it. I understand. Now get these guys for me. And that was, the next scene is literally Murtaugh just rules out the window. He was just going crazy. And I loved it.
Like, they were all beating the crap out of people to get
I
information.
wish I saw that more. Yeah. I wish we saw more of that. But it
And
also
this
makes
is-
you think. What makes you think though? Why wouldn't they do this all this time?
Yeah,
How
why
did they
don't
get
just
all
beat
this?
the crap out of people?
Or no, just how they know where to go now, where they didn't know. Like if they had this information already, why didn't they do it before?
Yeah, I don't know if they did. Maybe it was from
Well,
like
they
the
don't
bus.
show you where.
Like,
Well, they're not showing
yeah, they
you
don't
any.
show us. Yeah, they should have. Yeah, should have been some kind of lead or tip, or they got somebody to open up. But then this is the part where you get the joke with Rene Russo and Murtaugh's getting ready to help out, and then Riggs like, oh no, watch, and she beats up 4 guys.
Yeah, again, yeah. Okay.
And he says, "You okay, honey?" And I'm like, "Honey," after one night together.
And she beats up 4 guys. She doesn't have one scratch on her. She didn't have a bloody lip. She didn't have a scratch on her. And literally, she beat up 8 guys in a matter of what, a day and a half?
A day and a half, yeah.
Not one
There's
scratch.
a lot of ass kicking in the next few minutes, because in between we get a cut in of the captain leaving and Jack Travis kidnapping him at gunpoint. And then right from there, I wrote, now we have Riggs and Murtaugh doing spin kicks. Because that's the next part when they're doing it like in front of everyone. Like, because that's what's fun about this movie. I don't know if like police bullpens are like this, but when people show up to work, I don't know if they do like these like tests of strength, like when we worked in ripping the phone book with that guy.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the best, like the funniest things I think I've ever seen. You know,
I tried to rip it.
I wish I had the video still. That was great.
Yeah, me and Jamie worked with this guy this guy Mark, who looked like he was. I don't know what he looked like, Rick Moranis, but he was super strong.
He looked like Rick Moranis, and like he told us he could rip phone books. We didn't believe him. He showed us. He did it in front of us, and then Doug wanted to try. So somehow we had a bunch of phone books available, and so Doug tried, and he tried, and he tried. I don't think he ripped a page.
No.
And then Mark took it from him and ripped it right in front of him again.
It was insanity.
It was.
Well, this was anyway, like 2010 or 2011, where this is like people have internet on their phones, but phone books are still a big thing.
Well, back then. I don't know about now.
Back then.
Now you would have to rip your cell phone in half.
So yeah, he's probably doing that. Mark's probably doing that right now. So then we get
what makes Murtaugh think he possibly could do that kick? I mean, like you know, I get it. You know, he's being challenged, or you know, and again, Riggs is constantly busting Murtaugh. Now you have a bunch of rookies there constantly, and at what point does Murtaugh say, Riggs, really? I mean, enough is enough. You're embarrassing me. Like you're making me look like a fool.
I got 2 days left, bro. Come on.
But he's been doing it for 3 movies now. It's not like it's just something new. He's been making fun of him and making him look like a fool, and he continues in a 4th movie. So at what point does Murtaugh say, seriously, I'm a captain and you're making me look like an idiot? Why would anyone respect me if I'm the buffoon? If it's buffoonery all the time on me.
Yeah. But the fact that he like does that roundhouse kick, takes out the water cooler, and then next scene we get the security guard lady from the beginning of the movie looking for him with flowers. What a weird scene.
Again, they didn't need to bring her back. And if he was single, it'd be different because then Riggs could pretend like setting him up. But the fact that he's married and he doesn't mention it once. If he just stood up and said, "Hey, I'm married. I'm sorry. You know what? Fine." Why doesn't he say it? Why does he keep leading her on? Unless he really likes her.
Yeah.
See? Okay.
He likes her smooches. Dynamite kissing. So then this is where they get Leo. They tell him about, because they find out that Jack is a land developer. So they have Leo do some like little like recon on it. And at the very same time, we have the captain being cuffed by Jack, and they're using him to be able to break into the gun warehouse because they need to get more guns.
But he's not cuffed because he's driving him there. So this is the captain. So to be a captain, I'm assuming you got to be a cop at some point before you're.
Oh, I would hope so. I would hope
so. So this captain is basically obliging very easily. Now, again, he's driving he's driving Travis to where he needs to go. How about step on the gas? He doesn't have a seatbelt in the back seat, whatever, and just plow into something. Like, like why does everybody always like? I feel like they always lead to their own death. The guy has a gun to them. I'm gonna do whatever he says, and then he's gonna kill me anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go with a fight.
Something.
Run into a telephone pole. Flip the car. Something.
Yeah. No, I'll take you there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take you on all these guns to kill innocent people. Sure. Yeah, I'll help you out. And then we get, oh my God, this is so heartbreaking. The rookie guy that goes, oh, come on. I want to go. Come on, Riggs. A guy we haven't met at all.
Yeah. No. He was there. He was there at the gun range. He was there. At the gun
he was
range
there when
also.
they were shooting the hollow point. Oh, okay.
Yes. So he knew. So he knew about the whole. Yeah. But yeah, that was tough. I mean, I didn't expect it. You didn't. You thought he was kind of like a Leo in a cop uniform. Like he was like a little excited. Yeah. So and shame on Riggs and Murtaugh for bringing them. Probably they know they're going somewhere extremely dangerous.
And Renee Russo.
Yeah, but shame on her too. Because this kid obviously has not been out much. And you're gonna bring him to one of the most dangerous areas where he's gotta walk around with his gun out. Like this. I don't know if I would. First of all, I don't know if I would feel comfortable as him as my backup. He hasn't seen anything yet.
That's true. I don't want a rookie in here, but but at this point, we're getting 3 handguns versus like all automatic weapons.
Okay, I question that also. So Rene Russo has the gun. They know they're dealing with automatic weapons. Why are they going there with 3 pistols? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah, why? Like sometimes cops have shotguns. Just something.
Maybe Riggs likes the challenge.
He does. No, we know that. He'd be the guy he'd be like the Seagal to put the gun down and just take on 3 guys with a pool cue. That exactly.
Oh man.
But the rookie getting shot, man. The hollow point bullet, the cop killers go right through his vest. Now Riggs is pissed. And this is where he's doing the running and the double shooting.
This is where he goes out of control. When he gets pissed, man, it's like I just said, he starts growling almost. Like he becomes like a different person. It's awesome.
Dude,
and when he has 2 guns,
chases
a train.
He chases a truck down.
A train was well. First of all, do they have cars like it was? Well, I said train, but it was it was a truck with wheels on a track.
I was gonna write that. Is that a thing?
Is that a thing? I don't think so.
I don't know.
That automatically goes right on the road, like right away. That was a little crazy. But yeah, he chased it down.
Well, no, he chased the truck down. He gets in front of the train. He's on the front of it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
No, he's telling a guy that has people's lives in his hands to go faster to catch up to this guy. And then he jumps off. It was like, what?
Do you think it's possible to hold on to a train like that?
I don't know. Well, I guess you're not holding on because you're stuck to it. Like I don't think you're holding on.
Like that ride, the carnival that you stick to the walls when it spins around.
Gravitron,
yeah.
Which I have not seen at any of the carnivals that I went to like in the last few years. Because man, that ride was so dangerous.
Did you see recently? Not to go off topic, but they had a slingshot where the one rubber band broke as it shot up. Yeah. I mean, you think about those carnivals that travel around and the people that are putting them together. They all look like they've been drinking. They look like they've been drinking all day, and you're trusting them to tighten the bolts.
I know. I would never go on it. I wouldn't let my daughter go on anything that has to go like up.
Yeah.
No, it's scary. It's scary. But no,
I wrote down one line that Riggs. I think he says soon. I don't know. No, he jumps on a train. I have when he's on the scaffolding. That's coming up now, right? When he falls through the scaffolding with the guy.
Well, in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Because he has a line there I wrote down, which is like ridiculous.
Okay, no, my line is the old cop. Talk about a cop. Why doesn't the motorcycle cop retire? That guy looked like he was like 65. I was trying to think is that like Jerry Bruckheimer or one of the producers? But I love that Riggs steals his motorcycle and all the cop can mutter is, "Oh, that's bullshit."
Well, I was thinking, I'm like, who is this guy going to chase down? You know,
It's right after this because he crashed the motorcycle, and then that's when he falls through 3 perfectly placed pieces of wood.
And he would break his back. I mean, he gets right up, you know. But he says a line out there. He says, "I'm going to suck his eyes out through his nose." I forget who he says it to, but that's what he wrote down. I wrote down.
He was talking about Jack Travis, I guess.
Someone, you know what? I just wrote down the line. I forget. It was right after he fell. So,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, then I write, he almost died. And now, let's go on an investigation. So at this point, this is when they have Leo come and he tells them about, like Jack Travis, the operation, what's going on there, where it's at. And then at this point, they're like, "Oh, we don't want you to go." And this is where they shoot his tires out.
They kill his car. They basically kill his car.
They do, yeah. Oh my God, man. I know he's like over the top, but they got to be a little nicer. He's helping them out.
What is he gets crapped on by them all the time. And he still wants to hang out with them. Well, listen, he doesn't seem like a guy that has a lot of friends, so I mean,
I don't think he has any friends because all of his friends were criminals, so
right.
He can't hang out with them anymore. So he's got 2 cop friends.
Well, it could be worse. So
It could be worse.
I guess if you don't have any friends, it's better to be picked on all the time than to have friends. I don't know. I mean, because they really they're not nice to him at all. At all. In fact,
he loves it.
Not only that, they use him all the time. They get the information they need from him all the time, and then they leave him. They make him get a proctology exam.
Yeah, they get the rectal exams. They get him admitted for 3 days when he should be out in an hour. Oh my gosh! So then we get the old. So this is where they go after the gang in the undeveloped. It was just like foundation and wood. Nothing was really built on any of these houses too much. And dude, we get the old the brick on the gas pedal, which I think is my favorite trope in movies. People have to realize there's no one in it. Every guy pops out and just lighting it up with an automatic weapon.
Every movie does this. Every movie does this. It's so ridiculous. The car always drives perfectly straight. Never veers anywhere. Like what if it started turning? It never does. It does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Maybe they have the club. That would have been a good 90s reference if they put the club in there. But no, then Rene Russo shows up last minute, sort of scares the shit out of him. And man, Riggs is dude, he's crazy. How about his line when he's siphoning the gas and he goes, "Ugh, Exxon."
Well, I'm sure different gas tastes differently. It wasn't his first time doing that. But I mean, didn't they go there with pistols again?
No, yeah.
So again, now they go into the headquarters. Now they're going to the bad guys' headquarters with just 3 pistols,
and that's it. That's all he had, really. And his plan really was, F Jack Travis, I'm going to burn this place down. Because that's what he was doing with the gasoline.
Okay, right. Which nice plan. But again, you don't know how many innocent people might be there. But okay, so they're going somewhere knowing that they're dealing with these bullets that go right through, the vest. Wouldn't you find somehow maybe double up the vest or find be a little bit more prepared than say, hey, let's just keep wearing the vest anyway. What's the point of wearing the vest at this point? Why did they even bother? Why did Rene Russo even bother knowing it was like wearing nothing? But,
no, that's true. What's the point in wearing it?
Prepare, at least be a little bit. I don't know. I guess there's nothing you could wear. I guess.
Hey, we haven't got shot in almost 3 movies, so we're good. All right. Leo got grazed. We're fine. Nothing's gonna happen.
But the fact that he's crazy enough to be in the car with the gasoline spilling out while they're lighting the. It's ridiculous. He really does have like a he gets excitement over like near death experiences.
He has a death wish. Like that's
He
what
does.
he said. I know that's something like a Murtaugh line in like every movie. He says that. I don't know if he says it in this one, but I know the first and second one he definitely does. But how about how crazy he gets after Jack Travis
Oh,
knocks
my
out Rene
goodness.
Russo? He goes,
Well, not knocks
Dude.
out. She got shot.
she got shot. Oh yeah, she does get shot.
She got shot. So,
but it wasn't one of those bullets.
Right. It wasn't.
It wasn't a
I thought
cop
it
killer
was.
bullet.
Oh, I thought it was. But anyway,
No, because it didn't go through.
I thought it did because they talked about
She'd
another
be
scar.
dead.
Well, maybe it didn't hit him in the heart. Could have hit her in her arm.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, Leo got shot. He wasn't dead.
Well, he had.
I'm
grazed.
sure. I'm sure they're using the bullets and everything. They weren't taking chances. So, but regardless, yes, he turns it on again. So we saw Crazy Riggs twice in this movie, which is great because he becomes a maniac. And like even the part when he takes the board away, he's chasing.
Oh, I know.
Whenever you're there, and he still jumps across.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he still jumps across. Like there was nothing stopping him. There was nothing stopping him.
And at the same time, we get Murtaugh throwing an axe into a guy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really going to work.
I love that.
I mean, I've gone to axe throwing before, and I'll land a few of them. But a lot of them bounce off. Like that was and it was like a perfect throw, like
Perfect.
right at his heart. Yeah.
That was it. It's funny. That guy was in this movie like from the beginning. No name. We saw him so much. Rene Russo kicked the shit out of him one time, and he finally.
But you know what though?
He finally died.
He got an epic death though.
He did.
Yeah. So.
But the coolest part of the movie is at this point, Riggs is like obviously going crazy on Jack Travis. Jack Travis somehow like slips out. He gets into a tractor. Riggs is down and he's getting ready to ram Riggs. Riggs has his gun pointed. And does he fire yet? And nothing happens, right?
He's firing at it and nothing's happening. Because Riggs is knocked down at this point. I forget how he gets knocked down. So he's hurt. He's on the ground, he's hurt, and he got knocked down. So he's shooting the gun and as the tractor is moving very slow, apparently, and going towards him. And so this is where Murtaugh comes over. Throws
the gun, he goes, they're cop killers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he shoots through it, where you see go right through, shoots Jack Travis. And I love them. I love when he gets into the tractor with him. This is how crazy Riggs is. When the guy goes, see you in hell. And he says, go to hell. And then Riggs says, you first. And then all he does is move the puts into drive, and then it moves really slow through the building. I don't know if that would make him die.
But isn't he going through the building that has Rene Russo on the ground and Murtaugh still in there?
Yeah, right.
I wrote that down. Like I go, he just left the building where he was laying on the ground and the guy was coming at him, and then he makes that tractor go through the building, make the building collapse. True. The building collapsed with them in there.
Yeah. They're dead at this point.
Okay. All right.
You know what? That's so funny. Yeah. It was like it was right there.
It was literally the same building. It was just the same. I wrote that down. I'm like, doesn't he know that Murtaugh's in there and Rene Russo is knocked out? Like, well, I guess when you become Crazy Riggs, there's everything goes out the window. It's like your mind can't think of anything but killing the person in front of you.
Yeah, killing the person.
I think that's what happens.
And then we talked about this. They just boned like 3 days ago. He's so in love that he starts like getting pissed at her for doing what he does. Because he's like, you don't die on me. You don't die on me.
He doesn't seem like a guy. First of all, shame on Riggs because he's already lost 2 women because of his actions, sort of. Right? Two women that he was with, his wife, and then the second one he lost, right? Another one. The blonde lady, yeah. Yeah, that he was with, who was hooking up with. So what makes you think that this one's going to be okay? Literally, she's dying in his arms. And, so like at what point as Riggs, you're like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be around women because I seem to.
It's like Paul Kersey. It's the Paul Kersey death wish. If you date Paul Kersey, you're not making it to the next movie, babe.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Like you're not making it. But yeah, so that's what happens there. And then what do? We cut to Happy Retirement Day. Finally, we're on the 8th day. And I don't understand that.
This scene made me uncomfortable.
Oh,
It
totally.
made me so uncomfortable, and he didn't seem that worried about it. Like I know, like the mom. Okay, so Murtaugh's in the bathtub with with suds
bubbles.
everywhere. Which, by the way, the bathtub looks extremely small. Like he barely fit in there.
Oh,
So the mom's in there, you know, but the mom comes in there with the kids and a cake.
Yeah.
Right. They burst in there. She puts a little towel, like not even like a big towel, like a tiny little washcloth to try to cover him. But if you put it on top of the water, it's just going to float there. You're still going to see stuff.
It's going to float, and then it's eventually going to sink.
It's gonna float. Yeah. So like his whole family's in there. His 3 kids, his daughters are in there while he's naked in the tub. That was weird. It's so weird.
So bizarre.
And then Leo comes in there. Right? I think he touches the suds, or I think he moves the suds at one point.
Well, no, Leo makes fun of him for the whole situation. Like he actually like kind of like pokes fun of him, and then he goes again. They treat him like crap. They say, "Do this." You like he's an animal. Do this, fetch, and he does it.
Yeah.
He sells the house, and then they go, "Oh, Leo, we're not selling the house, and I'm not going to retire."
Well, don't you think they obviously knew? Oh no. He didn't know he wasn't selling until just that moment. Okay. So I was going to say they knew ahead of time, but they didn't know. That's kind of douchey though to Leo. Like, you know, like, I mean, I'm
he's
sure.
Like, oh, we're going to talk about commission. And I said I wasn't going to take commission because you're my friend and you're going to do this to me.
So for 3 movies, he's been trying to retire. And now after almost dying maybe 5 times during the week, he decides not to retire.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to retire this time. And then the family's like, okay, we get it. And the kids leave finally. And then he pulls in his wife for some hanky panky. And then we get the scene that we kind of like mentioned multiple times when he walks out of his house and Ryan, the daughter, definitely was kissing Riggs on the lips. Which there
was an aftermath of like separating kissing of what he saw. So yeah, that seemed like what was going like. I don't know if they're just trying to do that to just try to stir something like I'm talking about the director. Like, let's throw the scene in there and maybe just like pretend like, you know, something's going on, but like that looked real. Like that looked like they were really, you know, so yeah, there's definitely something going on.
But I love that for us watching, nothing's really said. We see him make like a little face, like they hold a shot on Roger and he like sort of makes a face and then they're driving. Then we get the whole scene with him talking about like, oh, I must be the unluckiest guy ever because you're my partner, and then him popping up and saying funny things every time he pops his head up. And then we get the credits, and when they're driving off, finally, he says, and keep your hands off my daughter. And then we get the credits come up, and you're like, oh, this movie's over. And I left it on because I was like getting done, finishing my notes, and then boom, we get a post-credit scene of another building. You didn't watch the end?
Maybe I missed it. Oh, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to look it up.
I accidentally just set off my alarm in my car. But
I'll have to look it up. Okay.
Yeah, no. So then there's a post-credit scene. They're not in it. It's really just the car. And then what do we get? We get a bomb going off. Another building explodes. And he says the line, I'm too old for this shit. Fade to black.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's it.
All right. Yeah, that was... Yeah, you know what? I missed that. All right.
I accidentally left it on, and because that wasn't a thing back then.
Of course not.
Post-credit scenes.
Wow. You know, I didn't even know that. Okay.
There we go. So yeah, that was Lethal Weapon 3 kicking off 2023 in style. Jamie?
So this is my thought. So absolutely watch it. I mean, it's awesome. One of the best franchises. I would just say if you've never seen any of them, you got to start with one. You have to start with one to see their relationship, to see how Riggs started, because, you know, how his crazy evolved. Because he was crazy in the first one too, but you can see it evolving each movie. But you got to see their relationship from the beginning. You know, watching this movie right now, it's like I said, it's more comedy than action, or it's like a split. And I think you have to watch it in order, or at least the first one before you watch this one. But I recommend watching them all because they're all great. And, you know, it's one of the best franchises, I think, that, you know, movie franchise. No, I'm not, forget horror franchise. I'm just saying in general, one of the best franchises.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's such a fun movie. I obviously sequel wise, I would say I put 2 and 4. I put this one last, but it's still good. Like it's still a great movie to watch.
It is
Great action. You see, like you said, crazy Murtaugh. You see a lot of like dramatic scenes in this movie. So no, this movie's awesome.
But you don't think that if someone never seen it, you have to start with the first one? Like you would?
No, I think you have to.
You have to.
Yeah, because you have to see why he's crazy. Like, and you have to see their relationship. Because obviously, you could pick up any sequel and like guess characters, but it's great to see the first time you meet Riggs and he's getting up there with a jumper and saying, "You want to jump?" and then putting the handcuffs on the guy, and then
Well, it's like, you can take Rush Hour, right? And I think you can watch any Rush Hour in any order. It's still going to be funny. It's going to be the same. I don't think it really makes a difference how they met. The first one changed a little different, but I think something like this, because it's a brotherhood. It's like such a different type of movie that I think you need to watch it from the beginning to really see how they evolve. Because even the fourth one, they're both getting older. And Riggs definitely slows down a little bit in the fourth one. So it's definitely cool to watch them all in order because I think they do a great job with that story.
Yeah, no, 100%. So during the review, Jamie kind of like did a little foreshadowing. He mentioned the name Jar Jar Binks. We're covering a Star Wars next, but it's not what you think. It's Ewoks, The Battle for Endor, the second of the Ewok movies that came out in the mid 80s. And we talked to, Jamie really, really did himself on this one. Like Peter Bernstein, like his credits alone, this was like one of his first bigger movies. He did the Ewok Adventure. He did the Ewoks, The Battle for Endor that we're going to be covering. He worked on My Science Project. He did Silent Rage. And then for his legendary father, Elmer Bernstein, he did all of those comedic movies, Animal House, Stripes, Ghostbusters, you name it. So it was so cool to pick his brain because he like had all these funny stories because he grew up basically like a Hollywood high school. John Landis was his buddy. He knew a lot of the people that we interviewed in the past. He really knew Eliza Roberts pretty well because they went to school together. So really cool stories about that. His music career before he even got into scoring films. Really cool stuff. Love talking to Peter. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.